What up, though? It's your boy in the building. Welcome to tonight's show. Chevy, want to say hi?
Hey everybody, this is Chevy the Superstar, and we're here to talk about what if.
And Marvel's What If. That is right. That is right. So we are here to talk about Marvel's What If, and it is September 1st, 2021, and it is the first or the first was it third episode? Third episode of Marvel's What If, and it was definitely an interesting episode. So we're gonna deep dive into it. But before we do, we're gonna do a quick little review. Basically how we felt about the episode and what our rating is, and then we'll go deep into the episodes, scene by scene, and kind of dissect it. So, Chevy, I already know you had a few little issues. What was your take on Marvel's What If episode 3?
I didn't like it, not for the reasons that you think, but I just didn't like it. I didn't like it at all.
Okay.
I didn't like the comedy of it. The comedy is what ruined it for me, actually.
The comedy, I didn't think about the comedy of it.
Like everything was a joke.
Yeah.
I didn't. So you want me to believe that this is what's really happening, but you also don't want me to take it seriously.
True. Yeah.
And that's why I didn't like it.
Okay. What was your overall rating of the episode?
I have to give it a 2.
A 2 out of 5?
Yes.
Okay. 2 out of 5 ain't trash, but it's pretty close. It's pretty close. So I on the other hand, I didn't not like it. I was shocked, and I was taken aback by the actions that were, or the things that were going on, and I was only no, I take that back. I think I was surprised. I think I was surprised at the end of at the actual villain of the episode. I was definitely surprised. I was shocked. I didn't realize, or I didn't think through what could be happening as it was progressing. It made all the sense at the end.
Yeah, but the way they did it, they made everything happen so fast that you really didn't have time to process it, because you was trying to process what the hell was going on.
Right, exactly. So, and then, and now that I think about it, I think even at the end, thinking about what you just said, now it kind of made me kind of rethink a little bit at the end what was happening and why you would probably be also not happy with some of the comedy of it, because it wasn't. I didn't find it funny at the end, but I did see where there was a couple little jokes being dropped, and it was just like, yeah, I think I
throughout the whole episode, it was just jokes and jokes and jokes on top of jokes, and it was just like, so
yeah, well, one thing I thought about was that I think from a standpoint of where we are in that timeline, I don't think it was at a point where we would have any feelings for these characters in order to not take the jokes as just jokes, right? I don't know if that's the issue. We can talk about it more when we do the recap portion, but I think from what I'm assuming you mean versus what I saw, I kind of feel like maybe that was on purpose, because there would be no feelings behind the characters at that point in the timeline. Like they'd be like, oh well, it is what it is. You know what I mean?
But
and until we get into the spoiler part, I don't want to spoil what it is that's happening, but definitely check this episode out. Marvel's What If episode 3. And it's called The World Lost Its Mightiest Hero. So it's definitely an interesting take on the timeline, and interesting take on Fury's big week. Because if you remember, Fury's big week was a week of things that happened that where Nick Fury was on his way to building the Avengers team, from recruiting Tony Stark to finding Thor and Thor's hammer, Captain America being unfrozen, as well as a few other eventual Avengers coming into play, and him, building that team, eventually building that team. So it was called Fury's Big Week, and we got reintroduced to that in this different timeline, and the very odd things that happened that ended up going awry. So all in all, this episode, I did give it if we're doing out a total of 5, I would say I would definitely give it like a 3, a good hard 3, maybe a soft 3.5, just because I did enjoy the different aspect of what was happening in the episode. The twist, got me. I think the twist by itself made me give it a 3.5, because I felt like it was like for me not to even be able to figure it out before the end. Like you said too, it was the fast pace in the short episode forced me to try to figure things out, but not be able to figure things out. But even in short episodes or short stories, I usually figure things out pretty quick and have some kind of legitimate answer or pretty close to the answer by the end of it. And I was clueless. I couldn't figure out what was happening, and then until like literally right at the end. So even when the biggest clue was right in front of our face, it was like I wasn't.
Yeah, because I was like, who the hell? What?
Exactly. What's really going on?
IMDb it.
Yeah. So yeah, I gave it a 3.5. Definitely was not on par with episode 2's T'Challa became a Star-Lord, but it was in my mind it was still a good story, a good one-off. And I want to definitely talk about that in the recap on how I felt like this was a good one-off. So yeah, let's get into it. If you haven't seen episode 3 of Marvel's What If, go watch it, come back, and check us out, because we are about to spoil the heck out of it. We're going to get right into it and talk about how this episode really just kind of changed a lot in the I don't know, I forgot to put that up. It changed a lot in the Marvel universe in terms of the timeline, or at least in that timeline that they were showing us. So let's get into it. So Fury's Big Week. Did you know about that? Did you realize that what we were seeing was Fury's Big Week?
I don't know what that is.
Oh, okay. All right, no doubt.
I mean, I know you just explained it, but is that like a show or a comic book or something?
No, this was the movie. So each of the movies, there was a scene, there was an end credit scene, or there was a scene in the movie where it featured Fury, Black Widow, or Coulson in their quest to build the Avengers team based on the Avengers initiative.
Right.
And
I remember
the thing
that.
about Fury's Big Week was, or the thing about those movies and those scenes, is that they all happened in the same week.
Oh, and how was
literally,
so
if you remember in the episode, it was like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's actually what happened.
Oh.
This was Fury's Big Week, yeah.
Oh, but how was I supposed to know that?
From the movies.
I mean, they told us that in the movies?
Yeah.
It
was a very small little, it was a very small little part. They even created a one-shot called Fury's Big Week to kind of really re-explain it later. But yeah, that was, I know, right? The small little throwbacks. There's so many Easter eggs, throwbacks. Marvel does an amazing job at doing the throwbacks and the callbacks and the Easter eggs, and they don't hold back. They make sure that everything interconnects in one way or another. So, so that's the biggest thing. This was also the first episode where we really got to see the Watcher really just watching, right? We got to see a lot of the Watcher. And I think he spoke a lot more too, right?
You say what?
And he spoke a lot more too in this episode.
Yeah, it was a lot more narration for him, but I think it's because they were in the desert while we got to see him watching so much. Because
I thought it was kind of cute, kind of different.
Yeah, I was like, that's cool. How he's just out there watching, watching him watch Them.
Right. Gonna watch them. Exactly. So,
Oh man.
so like I said, we started off. I think it was.
Iron Man.
Say it again.
Iron Man at the
Right. It was
donut
the
shop.
Iron Man scene where
And that's
he's
at
up
the
in
end
the
of.
donut and what is his name? Fury is already talking about the Avengers Initiative, Black Widows. She's letting him know like, hey, I'm familiar, right? And then we got to see them have that conversation with Tony Stark. I don't know if the thing was if it was really explained what was going on with his condition at the time. But I know he was suffering like a blood.
Yeah, you could see it all down his neck.
Exactly. And so he basically was suffering and dealing with the blood contamination from what he had done with the arc reactor, and having that radioactive stuff all in his blood. So they were offering him the basically not an antidote, but medication to kind of put a band-aid on it, and also trying to convince him to join the team. I think that initial scene was fairly straightforward until we got to the part where she tried to stick him in the neck, right?
Yeah, like I was watching that and I feel like I was watching it and I wasn't watching it. And when I looked up, he was on the floor and it was like he was dead. And I was like, what? And then I rewound it and I was like, he dead. And then they said he was dead again. And I was like, this not making no sense. I was
Right.
like, who killed him?
Exactly.
Who killed him? Wait a minute. I'm confused. I was confused. I was just confused. I wasn't even mad or anything. I just really thought that they was like, because they didn't make a big deal out of it. They were just kind of like, he's dead. And it was just like, oh, we're arresting you. And it was like, oh, I didn't kill him. Who killed him? But then it was just like, from that point on, it was just like, okay, so that I guess nobody is shocked. So nobody cares. But also, what the hell is going on?
Mm-hmm.
And why is it even important that it's going on if y'all didn't really even care that he died?
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, so that's what I was saying. I think at this point in the timeline, there's not a lot to care about, right? This is Iron Man.
But this is after Iron Man 2.
Right, but what you're talking, this is Iron Man still not really considered one of the world's top heroes, right? He's kind of on that cusp where people know who he is because he made the announcement, "Hey, I'm Iron Man," right? We got the Iron Man announcement, but he's still doing things from a military standpoint, right? And then I think in Iron Man 2, he also was facing the guy on the racetrack and all that kind of stuff. So there was some things going on, but it wasn't like he had saved the world at this point, right? He had saved the world silently with the whole nuclear thing, but he hadn't really saved the world on the world stage. So they're trying, and Shield at this point, nobody in Shield besides Nick Fury and kind of Natasha, neither one, besides either one of them, nobody really knows who Tony Stark is, other than they just know he's Iron Man, right? So I think it's like there's no emotion because there's no emotion. There's nothing to be emotional about.
I mean, he's still a dead person.
Yeah, but they're the military. Right? You're talking the military. He's just another number and another statistic.
I don't know. I don't get it. I just didn't get it. So we move forward. I mean, because everything was just happening so fast. Even like with Black Widow, okay, she arrested, but she's not really arrested. But she arrested, but she, you know what I'm saying? Like, but no, you're not arrested, girl, because I need you to be out here looking for me. And then we switch to the next thing, and it's Thor.
Right, which I thought, like you said, was also interesting in that she was straight arrested, was being transported somewhere. Fury gives her the syringe or whatever it was that was used to give him the little antidote but they ended up killing him. And I'm like, okay, nobody saw that he handed that to her. And
that one guy was the guy, the guard,
Crossbones, yeah,
who got killed by Scarlet Witch.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, so it was like, there was that going on. At the same time, we have Coulson out in the desert. He's on site where he finds Thor's hammer. At this point, they don't even know who Thor is. They're still trying to figure out how the hammer got there. Why they can't lift it. So they're trying to
one right after he lost his powers, theoretically.
Exactly. He was cast down by Odin, and so that he can basically learn how to be the not the chosen one. What do you call be worthy? So he can figure out how.
If his dad didn't take his powers, he would not die from that era.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
He died from that era.
Yeah, because he pretty much became fairly mortal, right? Fairly mortal without being able to have the power of Odin in him. So Black Widow's getting taken into custody. Thor is still looking for his hammer. Fury is trying to figure everything out all at once, and I think the action kind of picked up here. We got to see Black Widow in action. She fights the guards and all that kind of stuff. Classic stuff.
It was hard for me to get into her. It was hard for me to get into Black Widow because she wasn't Black Widow.
You were already the voice already had you.
Yeah, it was like I can't get into it. I couldn't get into it.
Right. Yeah. I thought that was a bit weird too, because of course I noticed immediately like that's not Scarlett Johansson. So
and it's like, did that happen because of the lawsuit, or did that happen because that was how it was supposed to happen in first?
She was already not supposed to be in the show.
Oh, so. She just said, "I'm done."
Yeah, she was done. Yeah. So that wasn't. I thought it was funny in my mind though, but it was like, yeah, that was expected. She wasn't supposed to be in the show. But we did have Jeremy Renner reprising his role as Clint Barton, mainly because he has a show coming up. So he was on set to do, or he went to the studio to do his voice.
Yeah, but that's the second episode.
Right. Mm-hmm. Exactly. He was in. He was also in the. He was in the first episode, right? In the at the end, in the just before the credits.
Yep.
When Captain Carter bought. Which I thought that the scene here was going to end up being her reappearing from that first episode. So yeah, there was a few places in this episode where I was like, shouldn't something be happening, or shouldn't somebody else be showing up? And I'm like, oh, maybe this is really just a one-off.
But my question is this: is this the same timeline that we're looking at that T'Challa is in?
That's what I was thinking about. I'm like, well, what about the Ravagers and T'Challa, and what about there was. So that's why I was like, this has got to be a one-off. Like, this is literally a one-off. Now I'm like questioning, are these really connected?
Yeah, because that's what I kept saying to myself. I kept saying it's not about like them killing the Avengers, because I understand that this is another timeline. What's bothering me is that you always say, what? It's a Paramount. What do you be saying when you be talking about these? If it's connected to the rest of the, what is it called?
The Sacred Timeline.
Yeah, what's that word? Because Devin be saying it too. I can't think of what it is y'all always saying. I always be looking at y'all like y'all crazy. Not Paramount, but it's a word that y'all be saying. No, I can't think of what it is right now. But whatever. It means that everything is connected to each other.
Okay.
That's the word, whatever that word is that y'all be using. And what bothered me about the episode is, because it's a cartoon, I think they rely too much on comedy, especially after Thor died, to push the story forward. but they want us to believe that these are all connected. You know what I'm saying? So I don't take this like this episode. I don't take seriously. There is nothing about this episode that I take seriously from start to finish, not because it was comedy and I'm attached to the Avengers, but because there was too much humor to push the story forward to the point where I just don't believe that this is real at all.
Okay.
And that is really why I didn't like the episode.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see it as the humor being you know, like a telltale for like, oh, this isn't what's really happening, or to dismiss what was happening. I just kind of took it as like, you know, it's just normal run of the mill, or what do they call it, a classic MCU formula, right? You know, it's like let's be serious, but also be funny all at the same time. Let's make light of what's happening because, you know, we don't want to seem too dark, you know, that kind of
But
thing.
I never saw a serious scene. The only serious scene that I saw was the scene when Black Widow got killed. That's the only scene that got to the point of serious. All the rest
didn't
of the
look serious to you? This didn't look serious?
No. Who was that guy? We don't know. But he had nice hair though. He smelled like lavender. We know that though.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about. What are you going to take away from that scene? Him dying or the jokes that they made about his death?
Well, that's the thing is that, I mean, the beautiful hair comment, I think that actually came from the movie. But yeah, the lavender thing, I can't remember where that came from or why that was even mentioned.
Well, that's the thing. It's not like they said it once or twice. Yeah. This was for this small scene between the time he was running to get the hammer all the way up until till they were both laying on autopsy tables. That was the running joke.
Right.
So it wasn't like once or twice. It was like 5 or 6 times.
Like, yeah. I mean, yeah. You're right. Yeah, there was. I mean, I guess being that I think of it as like this military aura around them, or this secret secret society organization around them that, you know, I'm kind of used to. And that was the thing too, is like, with the exception of a couple of characters, every time somebody died in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., there was no remorse, there was no sadness, you know, people just died, right? You know, it was just like, oh, somebody else died, blah, 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 move on, replace them, you know what I mean? And that's the thing, is that, you know, you're talking about characters who at this point in the timeline mean nothing to these people. So they're not sad, with the exception of Clint. That's it, you know. They were a little upset about him. Like you said, with Thor, they didn't even know who Thor was, so they clearly had no remorse or feelings toward him being killed. They just wanted to know who did it, or why, or not who did it, but they wanted to know, you know, how it happened and what happened with Hawkeye and how he ended up doing it when he kept saying he wasn't responsible. So I think it was like, you know, I think it was like just the mood or the atmosphere that they normally create around that kind of thing, where it's not really serious. You know, they like I said, with Barton's death, I think they did kind of take it serious. He talked about how he was like, you know, he's not going to be a suicide because he's got a family. He's, you know, this is not like him to make a mistake. You know, he's not going to kill somebody, you know, on something like that. And, you know, whatever else they were talking about, they didn't. I don't really think they made any jokes at all about Barton, right? It was more
in the same room where his body laid.
Say it again.
I don't know. It was kind of whack that they kept falling back on humor so much. They were, I know the Marvel formula. I know that they want to make us laugh to keep us from crying or keep us from feeling some type of way, or, you know, keep us into the story to the point, you know, because so much stuff can happen in a Marvel movie or show that you'll be like, this is too damn much. I need to put this down. But I just feel like in this episode, it was too much. Like, I didn't take Loki seriously. I didn't take anything about it seriously. Even when the villain was revealed, the fight scene was a joke. Like, I mean,
Yeah, that's what I was picking up when you were saying about that. And then I realized when I thought about how the fight scene went, I'm like, yeah, I guess it was a lot of joking around even with
Yeah, it
that
was just
part,
like, come on. The only person who was taking it serious to me is Natasha. Natasha is the only death that was serious that had us, and the Hawk because of her. But other than that, Natasha character, well, Black Widow was serious, and when she died, she had a serious. Even her fight scene, because that's the only person that we actually got to see be killed by whomever it was that was, killing the Avengers was impactful. But that couldn't redeem the whole episode for me.
Yeah, no, I feel you. So yeah, so like you said, we did get to see the Hulk come through. It was funny to me because this was Ed Norton's Hulk.
Yeah, because that's why I was a little bit confused. I was like,
yeah, with Mark Ruffalo's banner, and then Betsy Ross shows up, right? So it's like it was a lot going on in this part. Because it was like a mixture of certain things going on.
Because the other one, she was in the one with old boy from Troy, first one.
with Ed Norton. So yeah, it was like
no, I'm talking about the first one. You remember that one with the other guy?
Oh, you're talking about right.
Oh, his name is Eric Bana.
Eric Bana, yes.
Yeah, that's his name.
Yes, Eric Bana.
The really, really bad Incredible Hulk movie.
Was that the Incredible Hulk? Was that what that was?
I don't know, because I didn't know they had different names. I didn't know. The Hulk, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, that was
let me click on
the Incredible Hulk was Ed Norton. Banner was was just in Hulk. Yeah, Banner was Hulk. And it was Jennifer Connelly, I believe, that played Betty Ross.
Very correct.
Yeah, but no, the Betty Ross from Ed Norton's Hulk was Liv Tyler.
Oh, it sure was.
Yeah,
I forgot all about that movie. I like that one.
Yeah, and I don't know who voiced Betty Ross in this. I have to look it up.
Let's see.
What's her name?
Okay. Episode 3.
So Betty Ross was in it, and who played her?
Stephanie Panasalo.
Oh, okay. So it was just a totally different actress.
Yeah.
But she reminds me of the Hulk the Betty Ross from Ed Norton's. That's what she reminds me of. But then again, they both, Liv Tyler and Jennifer Connelly, kind of have a similar look, though.
They do. The woman who played her in What If is straight voiceover work. She do a lot of Resident Evil games and stuff.
Okay, got you.
She played Claire in the Resident Evil that just came out recently.
Right. So she was Betty Ross. It's been so long since I've seen either one of those Hulk movies. I really did like the
Edward Norton
one. Yeah, that one was good, hands down.
He just messed up. That's all.
Yeah. He wasn't feeling that. So
he was perfect for the role too, though.
Yeah, I thought so too. So
Mike Ruffalo is good too, though.
Yeah. So this is where we got to find out, basically what happened with the syringe, and she explained to Natasha about the fact that whatever came out of it, it wasn't even the solution that they were looking for. It was basically some kind of projectile. Broke through the needle and went directly into Stark's body.
Because they thought he got poisoned or whatever, right?
Right, exactly. Which they didn't get into that before she went to wherever whatever she was being transported to. They basically were just talking about that she had killed him, and they wanted to figure that out. But yeah, as we see here, it was literally broken out of,
Which is like, dang, how she poisoned? I mean, did y'all even do a toxicology report? Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Like, what was the toxicology that came back? But then again, now I think about it, I do remember now. I remember Fury mentioning that there would be a toxicology report, and they were going to try to figure out what happened.
But it would take a while for them toxicology.
Exactly. Yeah. So he was telling her that literally as she was walking away. So yeah, so that's probably why they didn't know, they were just taking her into custody, and so that
in the meantime, in between time.
Yeah. So she had the conversation with Betty, and then she started to put 2 and 3 together, right? She started to notice different things around the room, noticed that, Betty was acting weird, and she knew that at that point, she knew that Banner was in the room or was in the building. So, she was kind of on to him at that point. But then she got the phone call
about Clint.
From Fury about Clint. She was, and she, again, she was a little, taken aback, a little shocked, emotional, partially emotional. Then again, she's a spy, so we didn't expect her to break down and cry right there. But she got a little emotional about Barton being dead, and then it was like, hey, other stuff is about to happen, right? Everything is going down, and by that time they had figured out where she was, and then we got to see General Ross, his father, and his basically his squad, which that shocked me, because by that point the only person I could think of that may have been taking out these Avengers was Ross. But then I was like, why would Ross kill Clint? And how would he have done it? That kind of thing. So I was like, well, I was
confused. I couldn't think of nobody. I was like, it's too many people. I couldn't think of nobody. It's too many people. And the person who it was, I did not think about them at all. Because why? Why would I? Why would I?
Right.
In our world, they a good guy. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, we don't know of any. We didn't know of any supervillains at this point that would have been even significant enough to do anything, right? To even know who these people are.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, what made him turn into the Hulk? I can't remember.
They were getting all of the, like, Ross and his men were surrounding the building, and then they were supposed to be aiming at the Hulk, and then all of a sudden something shot through the window and went into his arm.
Oh, he got shot.
So they figured he was shot, and then
but they didn't do it. They didn't do it.
Right, and the guy was like, "Who shot him? Who fired?" They knew that they weren't supposed to be firing, and right, exactly. And, they were like, they didn't do it. The Hulk went off, but at the same time, we also got the Bifrost come through, and out of nowhere, there's the
Loki and
the
whole squad.
Right, exactly.
And Thor friends.
Right. So we had Loki, we had Sif. I can't remember the Asian guy's name, but yeah, we had his whole crew, and then their army ready to take on everyone on Earth, over the fact of Thor being killed, right?
Well, for them, yes. For Loki, no, that wasn't his mission.
right. Little did we know, Loki had a mission of his own. Right?
I could tell by the way he was talking, he had a mission on his own. His daddy sent him down there and said, "Look, now go avenge your brother." And he said, "Oh, while I'm down there."
right, exactly.
Always up to no dang on.
This is definitely the Loki that we know and love.
Yeah,
this is the Loki that Smooth is always talking about.
The what do he say? The
glorious
purpose Loki, for real.
This is the Loki with a glorious purpose, that's for sure.
So
yeah.
So now I got a little like, okay, I could rationalize why Thor was dead. Clint is a human man. Tony Stark is a human man. But when when Incredible Hulk just blew up like that, I said, okay, now what's the shit?
Right,
What is
exactly.
going on? Like, he can't die. Like,
I know that, and that was there. Everybody kept saying that. He was like, "Look, I'm gonna go out there because I can't die." And then she's like, "He can't die," and then everybody's talking about how he can't die.
And then he blew up. Like, it reminded me of like the Marshmallow Man from
yes. I was, like you said, I was shocked. I think everybody was shocked. Like, what's really going on? Like, I don't understand. Like, you know, what did he do? You know, and like nobody had made a move. I think he was basically just kind of hulking out and destroying things, and nobody had taken another shot. You know, so it was just like one of those weird things that all of a sudden he was exploding, right? You know, it's like, what is this?
It's just Marshmallow Man and out over there.
Right.
He would stay puffed right there.
Right, exactly.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's not hilarious, but that's hilarious. That I mean,
kind of hilarious. That was
like, oh my god, what the heck? I was just really like, because the whole time I'm trying to keep my composure because I'm like, okay, so is this how the collector got everybody's stuff?
Right. Oh, right. Exactly.
Because that would make sense now. Because that would answer that question. So he dies, you know, he explodes. Crazy. And everybody kind of just like, what the hell is going on?
Right. And I also think that we at this point also didn't understand, you know, what was next, right? You know, because it was like, okay, how are they going to figure this out, and who's who's responsible, and how are they going to, you know, kind of track down the killer? So Natasha, she goes off on her own as usual and tries to start doing some research, and then you know, she finds some files and everything. Here was, you know, her big clue. She starts looking at trying to figure out who else is involved, who else could be targeted, you know. So she you know, calls up Coulson, gets his password. That was another thing. Coulson's password
was Steve Loverboy.
Exactly. That was another thing.
I was like, but I thought Steve wasn't a
he was not the hero, right?
But I mean, that don't mean he didn't go down in history for being a hero just because he, you know what I'm saying? Because he still had that suit. So he still could have been a hero.
Possibly. That's true. Possibly. I didn't think about it like that, but I still felt like it just seemed weird that he would be a fanboy of that magnitude and it not be Steve Rogers, the Captain America that we know.
Right. Because at the end, something happened that made me confused again. That made me wonder if this was the timeline that we were previously in and watching. Because from my understanding, I thought it was supposed to focus on one timeline, not a whole bunch.
Right. And that's what I thought too. Was like, is this multiple timeline? Because the thing is that, you know, Captain Carter was supposed to be Captain America. T'Challa's out in space. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on. And it's like, but nobody's even talking about some of this stuff, or nobody's even realizing that this is part of that timeline. We're looking at the same timeline with just a slight variation than our original Sacred timeline, right?
But so maybe they are episodes.
Make this just a one-off. You know, that's how I felt about it, is that it was just a one-off.
But maybe they are different timelines, because it is supposed to be an episode about zombies. And I don't know how they're going to wrap that in if this is the same timeline.
Right. Exactly.
So maybe I'll just stop thinking like that and not think that it's different. It's the same timeline.
Thinking that it's all connected in one big timeline. That it's actually like a multiple different branch realities out there that we're getting a glimpse into.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that's my theory too, is that we're not looking at one line, we're looking at multiple different timelines. You know, are they connected? Will there be some connection point? Possibly, but I think we have to find out later on in this series. So We'll find out soon enough, I guess. So that was Natasha fighting off the secret villain and not doing so well, but she was able to send Fury a quick message that that it was Hope. It was all about
and I'm
Hope.
like, Hope? Who is Hope?
Right. Yeah, which is crazy because it's like it hit me, but then it didn't hit me. I still was confused.
I mean, see, unfortunately, those characters are not characters that I resonate with like that. So for me, it wasn't like a quick pickup. I had to IMDb it.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I didn't have to IMDb it, but I had to think about it after the fact. It was like, oh yeah, shoot, dang it.
I mean, when I saw him, I was like, who? I still was like, who the hell is it? The wife or the daughter?
Oh, you didn't even know that? Okay, yeah. That's oh, you really was like, I forgot.
I'm not really big into Ant-Man like that.
Yeah. See, I watched Ant-Man a couple of times. Really liked Ant-Man 2, so that was a thing. So later on, we ended up getting in with Coulson and Fury again. They start discussing what's the next plan. Coulson's listening to the voicemail again, finding out, or figuring out, who this may be and what this may be. And then it hits him. And he tells Coulson, hey, I got to go make a deal with the devil, so.
Right, because Loki put him on a time schedule.
Exactly. So, at first when he said that, all I was thinking was, okay, maybe he is going to ask for Loki's help, but how and what was he going to do? That part I didn't understand, and how that was going to work out. He goes out to the Guardian and has the Guardian call them down, and then he decides to go out and have his showdown.
I hated that guy. The Guardian. I hated that guy in that movie.
Oh yeah, from the Thor movies. Yeah.
Like, what was the point of even that being a villain? You could not kill him. I don't even think they killed him. Like, something had to stop for them to like kill him. Like, they had to turn something off.
I believe he's powered by like Odin Force or something like that. So yeah, ain't no stopping that guy.
He's just gonna burn you.
Right. But then we did finally find out who the villain was.
Looking a mess.
Looking an entire mess.
Show a close-up of his raggedy self.
Right. Now his suit was sweet. I like his suit.
But he looked like he has been
through the ringer.
Through it all. He been through the rain. He remind me of old dude from 5 Heartbeats.
Right.
David Ruffin. That's how
exactly.
He looked like he done been through.
Right.
Talking about his daughter. He looked a mess.
He looked an entire mess. And he was very upset about his daughter, whatever happened to her, and her dying and not being honored by S.H.I.E.L.D. and them not caring about her. But I think, like I said, like you were saying about the humor in the deaths and the situations, not really calling for emotion and that kind of thing. But that's the thing, is that they're working for a government organization, a militarized government organization. There's not a lot of room for emotion. There's not a lot of room for boo-hoos and not everybody gets a stateside commendation and celebration, right? So I think that was the thing, and that was kind of the theme here, and that's why I just kind of found it. I kind of found it normal. It was normalized by then for me.
Well, you just made me think of this episode differently, because even though he was wrong, Nick Fury did walk away saying, okay, I do need to honor these people better. I do need to lay these people better to rest better. And he did kind of walk away from that. So maybe they didn't do all of that to make light of the situation. Maybe they did all of that to do exactly what you're saying, and then to show how it affected their world that they did that. Exactly.
Because I mean, I grew up in a military home, and I've observed, I was a big news watcher. I've observed a lot of wars, a lot of conflicts, a lot of things happening, and how, unfortunately, these soldiers, from the government standpoint and from a technical standpoint, they're just numbers. They're pawns. They're pawns in the chess game, and they're just numbers on a stat sheet when it comes to their deaths. So we don't generally have any emotional ties to those numbers. It's unfortunate, but it's also, one of the things. It's like that's what they signed up for, and that was initially what Fury told him. She knew what she signed up for, right? He said that to him, and that was definitely not what her father wanted to hear, and but then
even if that was the truth, he kept saying like, but so why didn't you honor her? Why didn't you do anything for her? You should have still did something for her if she took that risk, especially since she took that risk and she knew what she was getting into.
Exactly.
The least you could have did was not just throw her away, because she meant something to somebody.
She meant something to somebody, exactly. Not just throwing her away. Exactly. Great words. And I think that they definitely embodied that feeling and that emotion with what he was going through and the battle he wanted to take on with Shield. Like you said, in the wrong way, but it was the way he wanted to do it. And you can see, like you said, how it affected him from the way he looked to the way he was acting, and the actions that he took.
But it was so funny in that fight scene. As soon as he did something where he disappeared and came back, I said, "Oh, that's Loki."
I did too. That's what it finally hit me too. So when he punched, when Fury punched Ant-Man and then did the flip over him, I was like, that's Loki.
At first I was like, is he an Avenger too?
I know, right?
Like, no. And then I was like, well, it could be. And then when I saw all them Nick Fury's, I was like, that's definitely Loki.
Right.
That was like,
it was a flip for me. It was literally the flip for me. When I saw him do that flip, I was done. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, I know he's an Avenger, but he's not that much of an Avenger. Like,
I was like, okay, Morpheus.
Exactly. And I think even Pym said something like to the effect of like, oh, you're very spry.
He was confused. He was confused.
How did you just do that, right? So it was crazy. It was definitely crazy. So, and the fact that he kept disappearing, right? He kept jumping around.
He was doing a lot. He got real big.
And then when he got extra large and all that, then Pym knew it was something wrong. Something was seriously wrong.
Yeah, so, but he definitely really did make a deal with the devil but even that, they even made light of that. It was kind of just like, I think I'll be staying here a little bit longer. And he like, oh, really? How long you gonna stay? And then it's like, what?
Right. Like he didn't realize that he was gonna stay a little longer.
Yeah,
definitely he wasn't. He didn't mean for vacation.
No, he President Loki.
President Loki, exactly.
Oh my gosh. But where the TVA at? Oh, the TVA messed up. My bad. I forgot just that fast. That's a timeline that they clipped.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. I was just looking at that like, oh my goodness, Samuel. I mean,
like what did you do?
How did you let this happen?
Right. So yeah, we definitely are seeing a completely different run of this timeline and how things are going to play out. We lost basically all of our mightiest heroes.
Right.
We do have a few. We do have a few left, but mostly we don't know who they are. So
right. But we forgot to mention how they did show that Captain Marvel was still out there in the world because he was about to call her when he couldn't figure out what Black Widow was going to say. Now, see, that confused me, but I guess it confused me because I was thinking that everything was connected. I mean, that everything was the same timeline. This was
the scene that you were talking about. Is that this is another thing that shows us this is a one-off. This is not the timeline that we saw with Captain Carter. It's definitely not.
Yeah, but Captain Marvel is still there.
Yeah, Captain Marvel's there. Yep.
Because she was there at the end, and I guess she was there to take out Loki.
Right. Yeah, because she's like basically like, let's do this, right? So we definitely have her to look up to, and hopefully she can take care of the Loki issue and get him out of there. And so, we'll see how that plays out.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, so I mean, overall, like I said, I thought it was a pretty good episode, just because I was with it. I didn't like seeing everybody getting killed off, and I didn't understand how this was connected to the other timelines. And we're watching him wipe off the shield as if Captain America is still frozen, and all this other stuff, or whatever was going on there. We already got Captain Marvel involved, which kind of changes some things up as well. So we'll see how things play out, and
that might mean T'Challa is still in Wakanda, because they didn't get introduced to him till later on.
Right.
In our timeline.
Exactly. So we'll see how they play that. See if they play
Spider-Man too. We don't know where
Spider-Man. Exactly. Yeah, because Spider-Man. I mean, I don't think he's Spider-Man yet. We think we still have a few more years until he becomes Spider-Man. But we'll see how that plays out, and if he becomes Spider-Man in this timeline.
But after they died, I did think about a lot of stuff that wouldn't have happened. Didn't, like, Ultron didn't happen.
Right. No Ultron. Exactly. There's a lot of growth moments here. No Wanda.
Yeah.
No Wanda. No Pietro. So so there's a lot of things that have gotten affected by the fact that they're not in the timeline, right?
Yeah.
So
that's true.
I don't know. But like you said, there's also previews that still include Thor, that include zombies, that include more T'Challa.
Yeah.
So there's there's some things that are coming up.
And Captain America, because we haven't seen the King Killmonger episode yet.
Exactly. So there's a lot to come up. We're gonna have to see what happens. There's I don't know if it's 5 more episodes or 9 more or 7 more episodes, but we have quite a few episodes left to get through, and we'll see how that plays out and go from there. So that was Marvel's What If, episode number 3, and so what kind of entertainment news do we have out there?
I actually started doing movie news today, so I do have some movie news actually. Let me try to keep it like related to what we do here. Okay, so there is a Rocketeer movie in the works at Disney.
Rocketeer?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
And it's set to be produced by the man who played Martin Luther King, David Oloyo. Yeah, I don't know how to say his name at all. He played in Selma.
Oyelowo. Okay.
Okay, how you say it?
Olayo. I just said Oyelowo.
Oyelowo.
We'll figure it out by the time it comes out.
But yes, he's set to produce and possibly star, and it's going to Disney Plus.
And it's coming to Disney Plus. Nice.
Mm-hmm. DC Fandom is coming on October 16th. It's basically their version of Comic-Con that they started doing last year. Due to the pandemic, they will have an exclusive
DC
trailer.
Fandom. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that.
Yep, they will have a exclusive trailer for the Batman, a first look at Black Adam, sneak peek of the Flash, and behind scene looks at Aquaman and the Last Kingdom and Shazam: Fury of the Gods, and so much more. Let's see. Oh, the Batgirl script is done and is moving forward, and I think it's moving forward at HBO.
Okay. That's for season 3 or season 2?
Of what?
Oh, no, you said Batgirl.
Batgirl movie.
Right, the movie. Okay, got you. Okay.
Yep.
There's a Batwoman TV show on TV.
It's a Batwoman and a Batgirl?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Batwoman is Ruby Red? No, Ruby.
Oh no, she not there, even her no more. It's a black.
Right, yeah. I think in season 1 she was, but yeah. It
was
Ruby Rose.
Yes, it was Ruby Rose. Okay, and then the last little bit of news that I have is Jason Momoa and David Bautista have a buddy cop film that is in development, and it's getting made.
Oh, really?
That's all the information we have on that right now.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and Megan Fox, 50 Cent, and Tony Jaa will be the newest members of Sylvester Stallone's crew in the Expendables 4.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. So yeah, that should be interesting. I don't know if that's going to be great, but it's going to be interesting.
I mean, I don't know. I didn't even know it was 4 Expendables.
Yeah,
I stopped at 2. I didn't know it was another one.
right, right. Yeah, they said that. I think it was. I think part 3 was just okay. Most people said. I saw part 1. I think that was all I saw was part 1. I don't think I saw part 2 at all. And then I just only heard about part 3. So yeah, that was a series that I didn't really get off into. So
Yeah, I just saw the first 2. I think I saw the first 2, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Because all I remember is that somebody died that I really liked, and I think they were cute.
Oh, okay.
And I think it was a Hemsworth. I feel like his character died in the second one, but I can't remember. Liam, because Liam is in that, right?
Oh, Liam Hemsworth. Okay, yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, he's in the Expendables because he was doing the Expendables and Hunger Games at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So all right, cool. So we got some things to look forward to, some things to be on the watch out for. And one thing that I did see was that Black Panther 2, the Wakanda Forever movie. They did have a first look. So if anybody's interested in seeing that, go check out the footage on YouTube. You can just search for it. There's a few different sites out there that are displaying some of the behind the scenes footage. They're introducing Riri Williams, who is not playing, but she's the character Riri Williams. They're introducing her. She's Ironheart. She's she's going to be introduced in Wakanda Forever. So that should be interesting to see how that plays out. How she gets introduced into the MCU and becomes a part
of Wakanda too.
Yeah,
so they don't be letting people over there.
We'll see how that works out. See how that works out. Well, there's another great show, and appreciate you, Chevy, for all your great insight. Because you know me, I don't be thinking of all that good stuff. Tell them where they can find you at.
They can find me on Twitch at Chevy the Superstar. Thursday night, we will be going live at 8 p.m. and we are starting the Harry Potter series. We have never watched Harry Potter movies, and we are going to watch all the Harry Potter series in the month of September.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, I gotta watch that with y'all. I gotta see that because that's one of my favorite book series, and I loved all the movies. So
yeah, I've never seen but a piece here and there of the movies. Like I know everybody who did and stuff like that, but I've never actually sat down and watched them. So
okay, well, it's your boy Willie Stylez in the building. Get at me everywhere at Willie Stylez. And you can catch me over at stylesradio.com or hit willystylez.info for all my links. Unfortunately, we have to end this show within an hour, and it's already 59:15. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it short because I don't want no problems out of this upload. Thanks again, Chevy. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And catch us next week when we do episode 4, and we'll see how this thing keeps progressing. Have a good night.
Bye.